16 inches of rain in 48 hours. It is still bucketing down, and these tourists thought that it would be a great idea to try and drive their tiny little hatchback through the water. I cannot wait to tell you all about it. Hi everyone, my name is Paul Thompson and I have been saturated for the last 48 hours straight. We have had buckets of water coming down. The water is everywhere, it's over roads, it's all through like the cane fields, it's just water everywhere. As a local in this area, I know that this is one of the wettest towns in Australia. Yes, we have this little competition going with a few other little towns of who's the wettest place. So we know as locals about driving in flooded waters and staying away from, swollen creeks and rivers and things like that. But the tourists that we have around our area don't. And I had the most hilarious, in hindsight, but scary kind of moment the other day when I went to take a photo of the creek. So just around the corner from my house, I wanted to take a quick photo of the flooding river. That's all I wanted to do. As it turned out, I got around the corner and there was this car. As you could see in the thumbnail, and I'll throw up the photo here, this car had driven into the water and was slipping off the edge. I was just startled. I could see a tractor over the other end of the creek and it was way too far for them to come back over to my side, so they had to go around. While I was standing there, I saw this girl start climbing out of the door, out of the window. I thought, wow, this has just happened. Like, I wasn't expecting this. I just came down to take a photo and then there's this car in the water. Then I saw another guy there, must have been her husband or something like that. And you could tell they couldn't speak English. She was trying on the phone and she was yelling to like the emergency services, and I could tell that she couldn't speak English. This has all happened like within the first minute of me getting there. I was like, oh my goodness, what have I got myself into? As I was standing there, another guy came and drove down, and he was about in his 40s or 50s. Straight away, just took off his like shorts and just had his jocks and a singlet on and started wading into the water. I thought, this is getting serious. Like, this is full on. Full disclosure, that creek actually has has been known to have crocodiles in there. Like, there's a sign. It's underwater, but it's like, do not swim. Crocodiles in creek, in river. Well, it's a creek, not a river. But the crocodiles in creek. And I'm thinking, like, this car's going down. There's people trying to climb out of it. Old mate has come from nowhere and is just wading in his jocks. I'm thinking about the crocodile sign that's underwater. All I wanted to do was take a photo. And then all of this happened. So this is the moment that, when you get that fight or flight kind of reflex. So I went into like, okay, what can I do to help? As I kind of looked down towards the car, I thought I could see a baby seat, like a child seat in the back. My heart started racing. I was seeing this car go down, crocodile sign, this guy's trying to wade out in the water to try and get them, the creek's flying across, and I see what I think is his baby seat, and I yell out, I said, have you got children in the car? And yell out, and they didn't hear me, and I said, have you got children? And then the guy yells back, yes, yes, and I was like, oh my God. There's kids in the car. Like, they've got a kid in the car and the car's going underwater. I was sweating bricks at that stage. My heart was racing. I was like, we've got to get them out. To reiterate what I asked him, I said, is there kids in the car? And he said, yes, we have the internet. I was like, mate, are you serious? Okay, so you don't have kids in the car, but you've got internet. Obviously, the communication breakdown wasn't working. There was no kids in the car, thank goodness. But, as he yelled out, he thought I was saying, do you have the internet? Like this, can you imagine? This car's going underwater, creek's going everywhere, and some local yells out, do you have the internet? What was he thinking? I don't know. Anyway, no kids in the car. So, about 30 meters up the road, we had this neighbor with a pretty big truck. I ran up and I said, mate, you're going to want to come down here. There's a car that's in the flood waters. I think we're going to need to pull him out with the truck. He's like, yeah, no worries, okay, head down. So he's taken his truck down and started to reverse. By that stage, the tractor from the very start of the video had gone all the way around like our neighborhood, like all the way up and around to come back to the other side of the creek, and it started to drive in. The girl climbing out of the window, by that stage, they'd had their bags and they're carrying their bags above their head. The car's still going down and they're walking and waiting themselves out. I had to leave at that stage. There was a ton of other people there. Like, I couldn't really help or anything like that. And as I was driving away, along came ambulance, fire brigade, swift water rescue, police, all with their sirens on, like all coming to save this stranded couple in this car that's getting submerged in flooded waters. And then later we see that the Queensland Police Service has, like, whoever turned up with the police has taken the photo and written a story about it. What a debacle. Like, what an absolute nightmare. Point of the story is, if the roads are flooded, don't drive through it. Particularly with a tiny little hatchback car. And more so, don't drive through the flooded waters if you don't know the roads and you don't actually know how deep it is. That's probably my go-to tips for getting through flooded waters. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate you subscribing. Also, if you could allow it to stop raining, that'd be good. I'll see you next week. Bye.